let's get right into it. We're not just looking at another command line tool today. We're talking about the Gemini CLI. And you need to think of it less like a tool and more like an agent, a genuine AI partner that lives and works right inside your terminal.
To really get what's happening here, you have to understand the engine powering this thing. We're talking about models with a 1 million token context window. Now that number sounds big, but what does it actually mean? It means this isn't just a gimmick. Imagine a production service goes down. You can feed the agent the entire half-gigabyte log file and the service's source code in a single prompt and ask, find the root cause of the crash. That's the level of comprehension we're starting with. It's a total game changer.
So what is this thing architecturally? It's an open source agent built on Node.js, so it runs pretty much everywhere. But the most important phrase here is mediated access. A web UI is sandboxed, totally isolated from your machine. The Gemini CLI is different. You are giving it explicit, controlled permission to interact with your local environment, to read your files, to run shell commands, to use your tools. It's a true co-pilot, hands-on, right in your workspace. So here's our plan. We'll start with the most critical piece, authentication. Then we'll cover the two main ways you can use the CLI. After that, we'll get into the really powerful stuff, how you can extend its capabilities using the Model Context Protocol. And finally, we'll wrap up with the key things you need to remember. All right, let's tackle our first big topic, authentication. And believe me, this is way more than just a login screen. This is about security, it's about data privacy, and for many of you, it's about enterprise compliance. The path you choose here determines everything about how your data gets handled. So how do you connect securely? The real challenge is finding the right balance, right? You need something easy enough for a developer to get started in minutes, but also something robust and auditable enough for a large organization to trust. And the Gemini CLI gives you a few different ways to solve this. This table breaks down the 3 primary ways to authenticate. Think of them like this. Sign in with Google is like showing your personal ID. It's fast, it uses a familiar browser login, and it's great for individuals. A Gemini API key is like a secret key you give to a robot. It's perfect for headless automation in things like CI/CD pipelines. And finally, Vertex AI with Application Default Credentials, or ADC, well, that's the corporate security badge. It's the most secure, most compliant, enterprise-grade option. Now, this next point is absolutely critical, and it's a major source of confusion. Your web subscription does not automatically grant you the same model access on the CLI. Let me be very clear about this. Having a Google One AI Premium subscription that gives you the Pro model in the web chat does not mean you'll get that Pro model in the CLI when you sign in with Google. Access for those users is handled through phased rollouts. So if you need guaranteed, consistent access to a specific premium model for your work, you need to be using a Gemini API key or the Vertex AI method. That is the only reliable path. For any serious enterprise development, Vertex AI is really the only way to go. Why? Well, first, your data, your prompts, your code is never used to train Google's models, period. It also stays completely within your organization's Google Cloud perimeter. Every single API call is logged for auditing, and it uses keyless authentication, which is a huge security win. Getting Vertex AI set up with ADC is pretty straightforward if you've used the G-Cloud tool. You log in, set your project and location, and authenticate. But pay close attention to step 5. This is the one that trips people up all the time. If you have a Gemini API key environment variable set, it will always take precedence over your ADC credentials. You have to make sure that variable is unset for Vertex AI authentication to actually work. Okay, so we're authenticated. Now let's get into how we can actually use the CLI. It really breaks down into 2 main modes of operation, one as an interactive co-pilot, and the other as a powerful automator.
First step is interactive mode. This is what you get when you just type Gemini and hit enter. It's designed for live back and forth collaboration. The really clever part is that it spawns a pseudo terminal, a PTY. This means it can run fully interactive apps like Vim or HTOP right inside the chat session without anything breaking. Then you have headless mode. This is for all your scripting and automation needs. You can use the -p flag for a single one-off prompt, or you can pipe data from other commands directly into it. This is essential for building it into CI/CD pipelines or GitHub Actions.
Now we get to what elevates the Gemini CLI from just a tool to a genuine platform, and that is its extensibility, all powered by something called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. At its core, MCP is a simple client-server architecture. The Gemini CLI is the host, or the client.
You can then write your own tools, in any language, that act as servers. When the CLI starts up, it finds these servers and learns about the tools they provide. And all the communication happens over the standard JSON RPC protocol, so it's completely language agnostic. So here's the flow. First, you tell the CLI about your custom servers in a settings.json file. When you launch the CLI, it automatically boots up those server processes for you. Then, it performs a handshake, where it basically asks your server, hey, what tools do you have and what can they do? Once it has that information, the Gemini model itself is smart enough to decide when to call on one of your custom tools to get a job done. And look how simple it is to set up. This little snippet of JSON in the settings.json file is all it takes. We're just telling the CLI, there's a server, here's the command to start it, in this case a Python script, and here's the port to find it on. With just these few lines, you have taught the AI a brand new skill.
We have gone through a ton of detail here, from security and authentication all the way to deep custom extensibility. So let's bring it all home and recap the most important things to remember. So here are the 5 big takeaways. 1, this is an agent, not a chatbot. It takes real action on your system. 2, your authentication choice is a security choice. Pick the path that matches your data handling needs. 3, use both modes, interactive for pair programming, headless for automation. 4, MCP gives you infinite extensibility to teach it new tricks. And 5, and this is crucial, a web subscription does not guarantee you the same premium model access on the CLI. Always check. And that brings us to a final thought. As these agents get more powerful, with direct access to our code, our tools, and our systems, the line between a tool and a collaborator starts to get very blurry. The real question isn't if we'll work with AI anymore, it's about how deeply integrated it's going to become. So, is it possible your next coworker is already here, waiting in your terminal?